Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and I'm platooning with two of the lads from MI6, Thaddeus and I Got a Tank. I Got a Tank and myself are both in our O9s, the Tier 7 Japanese heavy tank, and Thaddeus is in his IS-2, the IS-2 Berlin, the Russian Tier 7 premium heavy tank. Now we're playing on Live Oaks, and despite I Got a Tank's and Thaddeus's calls for me to join them in the city, I've looked at the two tank lineups and thinking I'd really like to tee off on some of those medium tanks on the enemy side who are probably going to be going down the southeast corner. And in the back of my head I was also thinking, generally when you win the southeast flank you win this game, because no matter what side you're on, if you push a city there's a lot of open space to get through to get to the enemy cap. So I'm going with the mediums and the tank destroyers and one or two other heavies down the southeast corner, and Thaddeus and I Got a Tank heading into town. Now this is a Name a Knucklehead video, and you're going to see a real knucklehead in this game. I've left the full XVM stats up. Normally I just have the names displaying, but if you have a look at this bloke here, St. Elmos, purple player, which means he's in the top echelons of World of Tanks players. 9,632 games in his AMX ELC, which is a very well-known stat padding tank. In any case, St. Elmos, myself, a couple of TDs, a couple of heavies and a medium, heading down the south-east flank. And most of our other top-tier heavies are heading up to the town, where they've already met quite a lot of resistance. So, being a top-tier heavy, I'm happy to be the first one to go over the top and start pushing this flank, because the amount of tanks that have been spotted in the city where Thaddeus and I Got a Tank are tells me that there can't be too many tanks here. So pushing the southeast corner, and there they are. Looks like a lot of them, but most of them are Tier 6. Most of the Tier 7 tanks are in the city. So I'm hoping that people behind me are going to help me. They seem to be slowing down, and I know I've got a lot of armour and I can take shots from a lot of these tanks, including the Cheeto, which is the Tier 6 Japanese tank. I'm trying to just chip away, get a bit of damage and clean up these low tier tanks who are down here, but nobody's sort of helping me. Nobody's following me, which is a little bit frustrating. We're only down by one tank, and that's mainly due to what's happening in town. Now after the game I spoke with I Got a Tank and Thaddeus, and maybe if they had another top tier heavy up at the town, maybe I could have been it, and maybe I could have made a difference. But generally on this map, this is the side I'm going to push. Take the Type 58 down to one shot. Unfortunately the IS doesn't really do a great deal of damage to him, and now I've got this tank destroyer to deal with. They're going nose to nose. Takes him down to 50 hit points, and the Achilles confirms the kill. Now looking at the mini-map, the city is well and truly lost. It's only I Got a Tank left. Thaddeus has died, and it looks like the vast majority of the enemy tanks are there. Everyone's pinging the map like crazy people. I Got a Tank goes down to, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like about 10 of their tanks are in the city. So I don't know if this is what I should have done. I reckon I can get back to my base before they cap it out, but I was hoping that some of our guys would have kept pushing forward and sat on their cap, bearing in mind that pretty much every tank on the enemy side that's been spotted, apart from that 30001P, the Tier 6 German medium tank, all the other tanks have been spotted in the city apart from the AMX ELC. Quite a few of us are starting the slow trip back. At this point is probably when I should have turned around and tried to cap them out, but you can see that all of the enemy tanks have all been spotted in this vicinity now. Now it would make sense that some of them are probably going to go back to reset the cap, but I want to go back to our base and make sure that they don't cap us out. I'm on pretty much full health. I've only lost 125 hit points. Nothing been spotted yet. We've got our ELC running out to the forest to try to light them up if they're coming back, and it's starting to look like more than the majority of them are possibly going back to their flag. But then he lights up the OI and the IS. OI's not top tier, but the IS is, and there's at least one tank sitting on our flag now. And the guys who've pushed on to the enemy flag have found two of them, T-43 and the T-25/2, the American tank destroyer. I don't have a shot on that OI. That OI gets himself into a really good position, but I'm going to try my luck on this OI, and I take him for 347. Now, even though we're down 3 tanks, the game's definitely not over. All of our tanks are in a reasonable amount of cover. We've got eyes on our cap. They really don't have much of a chance to cap us out anymore. But the enemy definitely have the advantage, but it's not over yet. They've got the advantage on top tier tanks. But looking at the minimap now, it looks like they've all got, the vast majority of them have gone back to base to stop those 3 smaller tanks pushing on their cap. So all we're doing now is trying to conserve our hit points and try and do a little bit of damage, but the game's looking like looks like we're in a fair bit of the strife. We're down by 5 tanks. The ELC at this stage still doing a good job spotting from that D8 position in the trees. Obviously the ELC being a light tank and having had nearly 10,000 games in the thing, I'm tipping he's going to have a pretty good crew, pretty good camouflage values, and be very stealthy unless one of their tanks sits on him. Down by 3 tanks now, but they definitely have the advantage. The enemy have the advantage on hit points, looking at the hit point counter at the top of the screen, which is part of Aslane's mod pack. Now the ELC runs back over to this side as the Crommy B goes out to do a little bit of spotting. And I'm looking at the map, I'm thinking that IS is the one we need to get rid of. That IS is lighting up everyone on the enemy base. Unlucky to miss that shot. Getting hit by the side from that T-25 II, I'd say. But if we get rid of this IS, brings the advantage back to 3 to the enemy, and it also stops them lighting us up. That IS was the one, even though it's a heavy tank, that IS was the one that was lighting up all the tanks at the base. I'm down to only 200 hit points, which is a 1 shot for some of the enemy tanks. Now if you look at this part, this is where I lag out a bit. Top left side of the screen, see that red light next to the 224 just up here. That's had a terrible bit of lag. St. Elmos in his little ELC AMX is reversing back to me. I put a shot into the Skoda, and that AMX just kills our own Cromwell. What an absolute moron. Now look at him, he's turned around, he's aiming at me, and he's killed me. What an absolute knucklehead. He's turned himself blue in the process, obviously given up, didn't want to see what happened at the end of the game. And looking at the way he's sitting there, it looks like he might have just been banned. I'll give him a bit of a burn in the chat, because in my opinion that is the most unsportsmanlike thing to do. So I've reported him, hopefully everyone else does, and it looks like, looking at the way he's just sitting there, it looks like he might have been instantly banned by doing that, which is telling me that he's done that a number of times, more than once, possibly twice, possibly a number of times. Every time he gets into a game which he doesn't think he can win. And as we, obviously it was a loss, but as we have a look at the post-game battle results, not a bad game for me. 1766 damage, so I got second top for experience and for damage. Maybe if I had gone to the city, maybe that could have been a total turnaround. But have a look at Donald Duck and this absolute knucklehead, St. Elmos in the AMX ELC. 9,697 battles in that tank, with a massive WN8 of 3,779, which is really, really good. However, being a light tank, all you need to do to get a big WN8 in the AMX ELC Tier 5 French light tank is to get 2 shots off. You get 2 shots off and you're already in the blue or the purple. Obviously, he didn't have a great game. That's probably 1 or 2 shots that he put in there. Plus, of course, he killed the Cromwell and myself, simply because he didn't think we had any chance, and he was probably in a rush to maybe go back to one of his Knucklehead convention meetings. So name a Knucklehead, St. Elmos. He has been a member of some very good clans, both Amiga clans on the Southeast Asian server and some other more powerful clans some time ago, but I'm tipping that they kicked him out because he's just a genuine stat padder. Look at that, over 9,500 games in that AMX ELC BIS, the French Tier 5 light tank. But looking at his other tanks that he's played a few games on, nothing remarkable at all. I mean, 58% win rate's good in the AT7. The AT7 isn't a bad tank at all. I didn't mind it when I had it. But all these other ones, low green and even red stats. So he's not really as good a player as he pretends to be. Thanks for watching this replay. Name a Knucklehead, St. Elmos. And I don't pretend for 1 second that I did anything right in that battle, but one thing for sure, St. Elmos, absolute Knucklehead, did totally the wrong thing. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this replay. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.